Untouchables are enslaving us as they are on their way. Neil deGrasse Tyson yells out, attesting to the most jumbling and lamentable disclosure made by the Pilgrim in the past 10 years. A revelation that scientists were not the least bit prepared for. Since the adventurer sent back this disturbing data from space, scientists have been unable to rest, and everyone is walking around in a stressed environment. Experts, specialists, and engineers have been stirred from their stations to fight these baffling objects that the Wayfarer just spotted. We have no clue about where these strange things are coming from or where they are going, but what we can be sure of is that we have seen nothing like them before. What are these perplexing objects that were recently found by Voyager 1? Join us today as we break down these reactions in Neil deGrasse Tyson's Adventurer 1, which has identified 500 dark objects passing by in space. For nearly 50 years, Adventurer 1 has been cruising through the stretches of space, examining the significant areas that ground-based telescopes have been unable to see, and revealing discoveries that leave our mouths wide open in shock. Thanks to the genius minds at the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory, Voyager 1 has been the brilliant corer to the new districts of intergalactic space. This engineering masterpiece has awakened us to the great wonders that exist in our universe. In another development, Neil deGrasse Tyson has confirmed that Pioneer has detected 500 dark objects drifting smoothly in space. This news came as a shock to mainstream scientists, shaking them as everyone began poring over the data gathered by Adventurer 1. Something odd was brewing not too far off, and it was challenging to solve this frothing puzzle that had puzzled even the best of analysts. Since Neil deGrasse Tyson confirmed this disclosure, various interpretations have been floating in the air, attempting to draw a clear picture that captures the mystery. Had it been another spacecraft that transmitted this sort of stupendous data from space, scientists might have questioned the legitimacy of the information. However, we are talking about Pilgrim 1 here, the spacecraft that has been cruising through the vast reaches of space for nearly 50 years now and has exceeded our expectations. Like a patient who beat cancer, Adventurer 1 has outlasted analysts' anticipated life expectancy of 3 years, spending more than 45 years in space uncovering history-making discoveries. Meanwhile, the most fascinating part of this story is that Voyager is composing this achievement story from a very far distance from Earth. The last time specialists checked, they saw that the spacecraft was 14.5 billion miles from our planet, running endlessly in space with no sign that it would reduce its speed anytime soon. Researchers say that the spacecraft has been traveling at a rate several times the distance between the Earth and the Sun every year. This is one fact that scientists have found a little hard to believe because normally one would have expected the spacecraft's speed to have declined significantly given the longevity of its mission in space. Upon closer examination, it appears that Pioneer 1 is bound to be the exception in this story, and it has shown proof of this again with its latest revelations. It was just like any other day for analysts when Pilgrim 1 delivered exciting news that would stick in their memories for a long time. Pilgrim 1 had stumbled upon some odd objects passing by in space. This disclosure was startling, which explains the initial confusion among astronomers when they investigated the data showing that around 500 dark objects had appeared out of nowhere. In a brief moment, we went from having no knowledge of these objects to specialists straining their intellectual abilities, searching for answers to this puzzle that nature had landed on their laps. Specialists were in a fix, and the blame could be traced to only one guilty party, Pilgrim 1. Suddenly, scientists knew that the solution to unraveling this mystery also lay on the heavy shoulders of the spacecraft. When news of this exposure broke out, some specialists wondered how it was possible that it could have been a mistake. They believed that Pioneer might initially be finding it difficult and, therefore, might be conveying wrong data back to us. If we choose to follow this unfolding path, it seems like a plausible explanation given that Adventurer 1 was launched as far back as 1977. Nearly 50 years of active service for humankind, one could expect the spacecraft's computers to have become exhausted and started to falter in their duties, sending back low-quality data to the ground team. As engaging as this scenario sounds, analysts have advised that we shouldn't settle there as it would be a slap to the sacrificial spirit of the Pioneer. Despite the harsh and unpredictable climate of space, Voyager 1 has consistently delivered insightful data about our universe. In defiance of the rushed assumptions of skeptics, the spacecraft has maintained its long life due to its dual redundant computer systems. Like its twin, Explorer 2, Voyager 1 came equipped with 2 sets of command subsystems: Flight Data Systems, FDS, and Attitude and Articulation Control Systems, ACS. This has been the secret force behind the spacecraft's strong fighting spirit when it comes to navigating through space and uncovering discoveries. The built-in redundancy allowed continuous switching between systems and the ability to activate dormant computer parts, thereby preserving their lifespan. While planning Voyager 1, the specialists on Earth devised a plan to enhance the spacecraft's efficiency. This required that the spacecraft's instruments rely on streamlined systems as they were constrained by time requirements and power budget limitations. Electrical engineers decided that the instruments needed to be developed using optimized systems that relied on hardware logic. Consequently, Voyager's computer systems contain 6 onboard computers integrated as a distributed system with 3 dual redundant pairs. Having overcome this obstacle, scientists faced the next tall order: maintaining the systems. This daunting task was conquered by devising a continuous power management plan. Here's where it gets a bit tricky. Power management included sustaining the operational functions of Voyager's computer systems. To be honest, this is a demanding task given the limited power resources available on board the spacecraft. It was like sending a hunter into the deep wilderness to hunt wild animals with just a handful of tools. Nevertheless, scientists devised a strategy to get around this problem by implementing several measures to monitor and optimize power use on board the Pioneer. A prime example of these power management measures that specialists devised is the selective shutdown of non-essential systems. Specialists were forced to make this difficult decision and used a methodical approach to identify and deactivate parts or subsystems that are not critical to the spacecraft's primary mission objectives. We see evidence of this when we consider heaters associated with specific instruments that had to be turned off. These heaters were initially designed to maintain the instruments at specific temperatures for optimal performance. However, the story had to be rewritten by activating them only when necessary because it greatly reduced power consumption on board the spacecraft. This reduction in the spacecraft's power use has a ripple effect. It extends the spacecraft's lifespan. This is a win-win situation for everyone. Additionally, we should remember that the decision to shut down unnecessary systems is not taken lightly. Such a planned action requires careful consideration of the trade-offs between power conservation and the scientific objectives of the spacecraft. Whenever such a decision was made, all hands had to be on deck. Specialists and scientists needed to come together and assess the impact of deactivating specific systems on the quality and availability of scientific data. Emotions were not driving the process. It was all about the facts at hand. The team was driven by the desire to maximize power efficiency while maintaining the essential functionality of the spacecraft so it could continue to gather significant data about our universe undisturbed. Engineers and scientists alike wanted nothing to stop Voyager 1 when it came to uncovering the profound secrets locked away in the mysterious regions of space. Secrets that the universe has been keeping from us for years. However, selective power reduction is not the only way that NASA specialists are keeping the Voyager afloat and working optimally in space. They had another ace up their sleeves, which they intended to bring to the table to support the spacecraft. The specialists had to devise power management strategies that are adapted to the ever-changing conditions of the spacecraft's environment. For instance, as Voyager 1 ventures farther away from the Sun, the available solar energy declines. We would agree that this is a problem, but the specialists came prepared. They compensated for this growing threat by ensuring that the spacecraft adjusted its power use accordingly. This adaptive approach is a win for NASA engineers and specialists because it ensures that the available power resources are efficiently allocated to support the spacecraft's critical tasks and data transmission back to Earth. Strangely, the good news doesn't end here. There have been continuous technical advancements and upgrades in power management, which have allowed specialists to refine and streamline the spacecraft's power system over the years. A closer look at these improvements reveals that they include more efficient power delivery, enhanced battery charging techniques, and advancements in power regulation and control. The implementation of well-thought-out and planned power management strategies has opened an exciting door for engineers. It has made it feasible for them to extend the operational lifespan of Adventurer 1 alongside its twin, Explorer 2. This is a significant achievement for mainstream analysts and the world at large. The careful allocation and management of power resources have provided Voyager 1 with the necessary strength to continue exploring the depths of the universe. The discovery resonated through the halls of scientific inquiry with seismic force. Neil deGrasse Tyson's urgent announcement echoed across the globe, underscoring a decade of meticulous research by Voyager 1. Amid the vast domain of interstellar space, the spacecraft had inadvertently stumbled upon an anomaly of critical importance. 500 jumbling entities, their origins and purposes shrouded in cosmic mystery. Navigating silently through the void, this unexpected encounter sparked a frenzy of scientific inquiry. Scientists and researchers worldwide began a coordinated effort to comprehend these puzzling objects, striving to unravel their origins and purposes.